Hello and welcome to another episode of Our Football with 1010. And this time around, we will be talking the return of the Premier League. We have seen some wobbles and hurdles for my team Arsenal. They've had this perfect run at home, and yesterday we just found out that they're also capable of, maybe overplaying and some of that. But I will not fault the Arsenal team because they gave in their all yesterday, and we can see that teams are like trying to develop some sort of a strategy. Maybe waste time. Some pity faults where they just fall down, and they, teams are trying to find a way out. At the Emirates, Arsenal had the perfect run. Winning all the games so far this season, all the Premier League games so far this season. But Newcastle United stormed the Emirates and they had a perfect game plan. Their coach Eddie Howe is doing a perfect job, as Newcastle are lying third on the table, Arsenal are first. Not like the draw wasn't a perfect result for Arsenal, but we have been accustomed with a team that is flying high at all possible cylinders, and everything which we expected was a perfect win. But still, the point took Arsenal 8 points clear of as league leaders, followed closely by Manchester City, who have to play Chelsea tomorrow. That's one of the gigantic fixtures of the week, which we're looking forward to. Manchester United doing what they've been doing of recent. United are very, very good now. United are actually flying very high, and I'm happy for their fans. Not to really say that I care that much, because for me, United has always been that team. I'll do everything to see that they go down, but doing what I do now, that's giving it to you guys the way it is, I must applaud that United are a very, very stable team now. We can see the confidence growing in the team. We can even see the likes of Harry Maguire, who came back, even though he hasn't had the perfect run in the league, but he had a very, very good game yesterday. Wan-Bissaka has been integrated. I would just say that their manager, Eric Ten Hag, is coaching the team. When you have a group of players that are actually being coached in a good manner, we can see Marcus Rashford coming to form. Can't stop scoring. Fernandez also doing very well. Very nothing to mention Casemiro. He has been the rock at the defense, and it shows that when a team is doing everything, when all the squares, the pegs are well fitted, we see that they will become a unit. Of recent, even Luke Shaw was sent to play as a central defensive, as a central defender. He played there perfectly. So today we have Tottenham, who will be playing, and they haven't been performing that well. They haven't been performing that well, and most people are looking like what's happening, because at the start of the league, everybody pitted Tottenham with having Antonio Conte. It was like the perfect match made in heaven, because he came in, he stated everything. During the latter stages of last season, they were going head to head with Arsenal to see who was just going to pick the last spot for the Champions League, and Tottenham successfully had that. So it some sort of played in the minds of their fans, giving them that aura to think that as it stands, okay, if they give Conte another full transfer window where he brings in the players which he would like to work with, we can see that he brought a few, but it's not gone perfectly for Tottenham Hotspur, and I get some of their fans already calling for Antonio Conte to be sacked, saying they're playing some boring football, the likes of Harry Kane, Son Heung-min. Things are not going the way they were programmed earlier to go, and it's some sort of shaky, and it's some sort of causing alarm bells. How long would he be there? Would he be able to turn the form which he have now? Because in the past 8 games or so, Tottenham happens to concede first in almost. So it's really a shocking scenario for them, because their fans have been accustomed during the good days of Pochettino. They come to the pitch and they see that they watch good football, winning, and they were challenging at the top. But now it's really tough times for all those at White Hart Lane. It's not easy, Aston Villa coming there, getting the points, teams just come to White Hart Lane and they get there, it's really but I beg your pardon, they don't have a Hotspur Stadium, so it's not easy. It's not easy. But coming back to Arsenal, I think Mikel Arteta has done a good job so far. But if Arsenal want to, stake a claim to say that they are part of the big boys now and they mean business, because this is the business end of the league, wherein if you go maybe like 10-15 points clear, it's highly impossible that any other team coming behind you would be able to catch up with you. So now the transfer window is open and Tottenham are trying to do business, early business. Chelsea also trying to do it. Chelsea have already signed a couple of players. Arsenal are linked with Mudryk. As you can know, he's a Ukrainian sensation who plays for Shakhtar Donetsk, and he's been the talk of the transfer window. The likes of the reputable Fabrizio Romano, talking the likes of Winston, they have come out clearly to say that Arsenal are heavily linked with this player. He was really good over the group stages of the Champions League. He plays the right wing. He likes to cut in. He has pace, good skills with the dribble. Arsenal went in with the first bid that's just above 50 million euros, and the president of Shakhtar Donetsk has said openly that they value this player almost 100 million, 100 million euros, and that's some money to pay for a player that is unproven, in the big leagues in Europe, and everyone is looking like, are you sure he's going to be able to do it? So many players have come with a heavy price tag, which happens to weigh on them at times. We have the likes of Nicolas Pepe, who came for about 75 million, and it was a record signing for Arsenal, and things didn't move as planned. Pepe gave in the little bit of contributions he could give, but he didn't hit the ground running. We have the likes of Xherdan Sancho, who came from Borussia Dortmund to Manchester United. What we could even talk of the Brazilian. Why would I forget? We have the Brazilian who just recently came to Manchester United. It's not been perfect. So people are kind of wondering, if you buy these players with these heavy price tags and they come in for the life for Arsenal, we can say they always want to do a business, focus on getting these talents young, invest on academy players, try to build the academy, sell some products, get players who are homegrown. But now we have to go and pay this amount for a player. Is it sure? Is it guaranteed that he is going? If I'm the one, because now Shakhtar are trying to play a game, because today, during the early hours of the day, we learned that Chelsea are actually monitoring the situation to see if they could step in. Chelsea are observing, but knowing Chelsea for who they are kings of the hijacks. They hijacked the deal Tottenham had with William back then in 2012. They have a couple of, it's notable for Chelsea, like when a player has an agreement somewhere with this team. It happened with Eden Hazard, who probably came and said, okay, I will be going to Manchester. Maybe we never knew at the time if it was Manchester United or Manchester City. And 2 days later, Hazard signed for Chelsea. It's a recurrent situation. We have heard Arsenal, the player is flirting with Arsenal. The player has openly said he wants to play. He didn't come out to say he wants to play for Arsenal, I beg your pardon. But if we follow him, he's in Ukraine, keep in touch with the Arsenal games, watching and probably going to his social media platforms, showing that he wants to be part, like he loves the project and he sees himself as part of that project. So it's on Arsenal now. Do you want to pay the top dollar which is demanded, or do you want to move to other targets? Because knowing Mikel Arteta and Edu very well, there are people who are proactive in the market. They don't just wait to see situations. Even the bid they have put in for Mudryk, they gave an improved bid for about 65 million euros yesterday. This transfer market is going bonkers, and I must say, players now, I hear Chelsea are just putting a bid For Enzo Fernandez, 127 million euros. For a talent that is unproven, has just one goal in the whole league season in Benfica, Yes, he is a good player. He just won the World Cup and he was good in the Argentinian football, but we must say that there were players much more better than him. But that's what the World Cup does to players. It lifts your market value to a level that we can't even expect. Looking at the situation now is just crazy, because the type of money that is being called for these players can make even their domino too, because you see Enzo Fernandez, he is clearly an unproven talent. Nobody knows what he's going to do. It's not like he's coming in, he's a striker who is going to be evaluated based on the goals he's going to score. It's a midfielder, and it might go wrong for Chelsea to be ready to pay 127 million euros for this guy. Todd Boehly and their group are really trying to get the Chelsea fans by spraying money everywhere. What if all of these don't come to fruition? Because we can see now that Chelsea are nowhere near the Abramovich moments where they were always happy. They knew that no matter what, Chelsea will be fighting for the trophies, Chelsea will be fighting for the honors and all. But this season, Chelsea are nowhere near the Chelsea we used to know. It's partly to be blamed their owner, who at the start of the season was the general overseer of everything. He was the sporting director. He was the one in charge of transfers and doing everything. The intelligence. We had the likes of Peter Cech, who were there before, helping to run the club. But when the new ownership came, they said no, we are doing things differently. But of recent, they appointed director of football, which is amazing for the Chelsea fans. But what will I say? We might know to a certain degree that these expensive transfers really turn to flop, and it might just be the situation with Enzo Fernandez. And that's why I can say that, for me, Arsenal should not go into the bidding game with Chelsea to see who is going to get a Mudryk, because once it gets to that, it already swells the price, and the beneficiaries of this would be Shakhtar Donetsk, because they can wait for you to get to whatever level you want to get to. So I'll just end this by saying that it has not been a bad season at all for Arsenal. Even the draw yesterday wasn't a bad one, but still they need to move. They need to need to try to bring people in, because if we see the bench of Arsenal yesterday, it lacked a lot, from the coach just doing one change, that's taking out Ben White and putting Tomiyasu, shows that he is not confident about the side which he has. The bench is not confident. Fabio Vieira was there. He didn't even change anything. He didn't change the attack line. For me, Jesus would come, Emisrio will come, but till the moment they come, Mudryk would be a good buy. If Arsenal can just go in and stake a claim and get the player, perfect, because the player loves the team. I hear that personal terms are already agreed and everything is good with Arsenal, but you have to go through the club to get the player. So now Arsenal will just have to wait to see what happens in the transfer market. This is January, and we are positive, we are hopeful that some new signings will come in. Maybe somebody to be able to deputy for Thomas Partey in case something happens, because last season when Partey was injured, our season crumbled. So we just hope that the Arsenal board is acting. They need to do something. They need to go in, buy like 3 players for us to be able to take the league. It's been a while, like Arsenal fans were this happy. It's been a while we've grown looking at the fact that okay, Arsenal can be challenging at the top, and this is the season. So now it's just left for the owners and for the board of directors and everything to put some money in. It's also worth mentioning that Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Al Nassr. He will be there with some greats, the likes of Abubakar Vincent. Those are players that he has gone, even David Ospina left Napoli to Al Nassr. Ronaldo said in his statement that he has won every trophy there is to be won, and he's one of the world greats, and the amounts of money which he commands is because he is a special talent, and that the Saudi league should not be minimized. Everyone has to look at the league like it has something to show, and why not? Saudi Arabia had just like 800 followers on Instagram, and as soon as Ronaldo signed for them, they went up to about 8 million followers in a couple of days. So that's to show you the power of player which Ronaldo is. Now the transfer season is open. Let's see if our clubs are able to sign in, put in that marquee signing that's going to lift them to where they want to be. Arsenal fans, Manchester City fans, Liverpool fans, Tottenham, Chelsea, let me get your say. Let me get what you think about who do you want your club to sign. Who would you want to be? Who would you want to be that addition in this January window? Come the 31st, if your club was to sign one person and you feel positive about the move, who do you think would be that player? Let me get you. Push the like button, subscribe, and why not, let's interact in the comment section. It's always a pleasure being with you. Peace out.